As the dust settles for another heavy defeat for Blackburn Bloody Rovers, questions start to surround the future of JDT's boys. Can we play in this style of football and win bloody games? We're going to take a little look next. That's right, folks. Let's give another match review, of course, looking back on the weekend's shit show. That's, of course, the 4-1 loss to Leicester City. And we'll get to that in just one second. If you're new, where you been? Smash your subscribe button, bang on all things Rovers related, Championship related, world football related. We're going to all hear, boys. Under one Ruski. Yes, it's starting to become a little bit familiar, this taste in our mouths. Of course, it's not that, you dodgy bastards. It's defeat. 3 league defeats on the spin. Not good stuff for Rovers, who do have ambitions to get out of this division. But, of course, this weekend, we were second bloody best. We'll take a look at all of it in a second. Of course, big shout out to the VIPs. They are the patrons. Of course, you know who you are. So let's go through the motions here. Of course, take a look back at it. Of course, I've slept on it. It was a long old day yesterday. 4-1 loss in the end to a Premier League side that is having a one-year vacation in the Championship. Of course, they took the lead early doors. Slideshow Bob, a.k.a. Root Face, with a big header, of course, back of the net. If you haven't seen the goal and you want to see it from it, or maybe if you want to see it from a different angle, check out Denver Green's vlog. He's got that bad boy on camera, so check that out. We then equalised. Sammy Smodic gave us hope, a glimmer of hope, a sliver of hope before, of course, a familiar foe to Ewood Park. Jamie Vardy scoring his 18th goal for Leicester City at Ewood to give them the lead, and of course settled into the game nicely, didn't they? Just of course went into half-time. Just the one goal down, Rovers. And then we tried to challenge. We tried to go for it. And as you can see, we tried with the stats. Of course, 15 shots compared to Leicester City's 11. They were they weren't at their best. I'm gonna say that right here. Right now, Leicester were not really out of second gear. I don't think they were. They didn't have to get out of second gear. Rovers tried, and we tried. We did cause them problems. Don't get me wrong. I think their defense was just too decent. When you look back at the team news, and we'll see the team news in a minute, just count up all the international caps in that team. It's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous team. Probably one of the strongest teams I've seen in the Championship in a long, long time. But we gave them a game. And we, of course, were pushing. We were, of course, trying to get ourselves something out of this match. And, of course, we were playing 110%. We were giving everything. However, at the back is where the problems seem to be lying right now. Maybe, we're getting praised. We get lauded by the fans, by the managers and the coaches of opposition, saying we're a great team, a fantastic team, and, great football, all this kind of stuff. Of course, they're going to say that because they're getting wins over us at the minute. But, and this was no exception. Of course, Coach Mark Esca, or whatever his name is, after the game saying, great team and all this kind of stuff. They just love playing against us because we're playing, yes, we might be playing good football, but that at the minute is not winning us games, of course. If you turn the clock back to Sam Allardyce era, all those long ball specialists were going a different kind of route, and we're getting, sneaky 1-0 wins. It wasn't pretty, it wasn't ugly, but it was getting results right here, right now. I think we need to go back to the drawing board and kind of find a bit of a merge between the two. Yes, it's great, and it's, of course, eye candy when it goes right, but when it goes wrong, like this, it's not really winning anyone's favours here. It's not really going to get bums on seats if we're going to go to League One again. So let's try and find a little happy medium here between long ball and, of course, attractive winning football. That's all we want. That's all we want. Winning football. I think we got some good ingredients here. Again, we're still light in experience, and across this team here, especially up top. When, of course, push comes to shove in this game, and we have to bring on our attacking players, we're relying on Tyree Stone, and picked up on a free. We're bringing in Telolovic last 5-6 minutes, who's probably bought on peanuts as well. So we are really scraping the barrel, and, of course, we could really do with One or two of Leicester City's players, of course, absolutely incredible. Tom Cannon bought for 8 million. Don't know where he is. Don't know. Is he on? Is he arrived yet? Is he looking for a house? I don't know where he is. They spent 8 million on him, and of course, doesn't even bother getting into the team. But he might be injured, so I don't know. But anyway, of course, the game was wrapped up with a penalty, a bit of a softie. I think I don't know. Was it Hayden Carter? Somebody pulled down Vestergaard in the box there, of course, during a corner, and Kelchich slotted home for 82 minutes on the clock to wrap this game up. Put a dicky bow in it. But of course, the cherry on top was Kieran Dewsbury Hall with his upteeth goal of the season as well. It's just men against boys in a way. It's definitely men against boys because our squad is so young, and we would love to have a player, one of the players from Leicester City right now in our team. So. Well, Leicester City are one of those. It was going to be a free hit. It's just the scoreline does make us sweat and hurt a little bit. And things did get a little bit worse or a little bit interesting or a little bit spicy in regards to team news for the moving forward. Of course, Pears took out an injury or got injured in a clash with Jamie Vardy, I believe. Looks like a broken bone in the toe or metatarsal. He was substituted. Wallstadt came on, unfortunately. Into the firing pan he went and, of course, conceded 2 goals himself. So not the great introduction, but it's going to settle a few arguments, of course. People screaming out for him to start. He will have to start now, it looks like, because I think Pears is out. Correct me if I'm wrong. We'll find out the digest as we get closer to match day against Coventry this weekend. Dominic Hyam, Carter, Pickering, Britton. Britton's been phenomenal. I think he's been one of our players of the month, if not the player. Well, Smodic probably is a player of the month. Then Travis Wharton, of course. I think Wharton didn't really get much time. He looked good on the ball when he got on the ball, but I think sometimes we might need to go for just a little bit more control, not control, but grit and determination in midfield. So I would probably look to rest Wharton this midweek against Coventry City. Maybe bring on Tronstad alongside Travis. And then you have Moran, who was also quite decent in this game. I'd probably opt for those games, but that's something for another day. Then we have, of course, Dylan McAdee, again, handful on the right-hand side. We have Arna on the left-hand side, Moran and Sammy Smosh. No recognised out-and-out striker. Gallagher's out. Leonard was out. And, of course, Teleljovic, it's just not good enough at the minute. So we did see, of course, Wallstadt coming on, Rankin, Costello, Tronstad, Dolan and Teleljovic. And of course, the opposition. Of course, it's a who's who, really, of international football. We've got Hermansen, Danish international, I'm sure. We've got Vestergaard, Danish international, veteran centre-back at the back there. Wout Faes, Belgian international, £20 million, €20 million rated. James Justin at left-back, 20 million rated as well. Ricardo Pereira, I'm sure he's got up-team caps for Portugal. Harry Winks has played for England. Winford Indian has played for bloody Nigeria. Kieran Dewsbury Hall should be playing for Liverpool, if not more. Stephen Mavidi, a young gun there, of course, formerly of Juventus. We've got Ishanku Wafatanwu, of course, from Ghana. And then we've got Jimmy Vardy, of course, we know about him as well. And on the bench, of course, didn't bother with Connor Cody. We didn't bother with Preston Daka. We didn't bother with Harry Suter, of course. All who have played for their international team as well. So we did see Chowdhury, Chesedi, McAteer, who was injured. And that's, of course, a bit of a stumbling block for them. This is, of course, how the match ratings score. 7.9 for Sammy Smodic. Absolutely incredible stuff. Best player on the pitch by, of course, a sofa score. And, of course, some good ratings for Travis and Wharton and Carter had a shitter. Pickering and Britton on the flanks did all right against opposite. It was just the last 15 minutes. It all went to shit. And, of course, not great. Down here, of course, you can see the action zones where everything took place. Of course, the key players, as you can see, Sammy Smudge was the man. Of course, great tenacity from the fella. But, unfortunately, he was on the losing side. Of course, the next best bunch was all Leicester City. So take from that from what you will. Meanwhile, of course, what else have I got for you here? We've got, of course, yes, the shot grid. As you can see, Smodic with 7 shots on the day, Moran with 3, McAdee with 3, Travis 1, and Rankin Costello from the bench with 1. As for Leicester City, the shots coming from Dewsbury Hall. Vardy had a couple, he scored from 1, as did Dewsbury Hall as well, and a few others. And, well, we had, what we're looking at here, 751 touches for Leicester, 708 for Rovers. They had 576 passes. We have 524 as well heading into this. Quick look at the heat maps then, shall we, on this one? Of course, Rovers over, where are we? We're on the left-hand, on the top one there. And, of course, Leicester City having a lot of the possession in this area of the pitch as well. Of course, what about the gaffer? What did he have to say about the match? Well, here is JDT's comments about the defeat. And, of course, more.
Reflect on that today. Obviously, a very disappointing result. How do you reflect on your team's performance today?
No, I think it was, of course, we're extremely disappointed with the result. It doesn't really reflect the game, I think, that score in the end. We knew it was going to be tough against the Premier League side with a lot of good players. I think we caused them plenty of problems in the first half with great football, great movement, rotations. We gave 2 soft goals away in the first half. In the second half, we were in the game. We were on top of the opponent, actually, when we got the big chance to score a goal. And I think only they had 4 shots on target. And in the end, with the penalty, of course, which, by the way, I think is a very soft penalty. You can give it, but then you can give 10 penalties in each game. Then the game was over. So in that way, it's, of course, tough with the result. But great effort for the lads. But, of course, giving some unnecessary goals away, learning at the job in some of the situation, you could say that.
Unnecessary goals, you mentioned. You've conceded 20 now in the 9 championship games, 16 in 5. What's going wrong at the back?
The first one is a corner. Quite simple. You need to get the first contact as well as a side. Second is a throw-in on the half of the opponent in the corner where we are not close enough to our man. And we have plenty of players regarding the numbers of players, regarding the opponent team. There's the 2 goals, and of course the third one is the penalty.
What's the solution to this situation you're in at the moment?
Something we need to do better. Something we need to do way better. It's not because we are not open, because we are open. We are controlling the game, but it's of course personal error, which happen in football. When you concede, is a lot of times is mistakes.
Are you worried that it's happening at a regular basis at the moment with individual errors? You spoke about that last week.
Of course, if you look at the games, I think against Cardiff here a couple of days ago, scored 2 goals, which were avoidable. We scored 5 goals in that game. Each we played a poor first half. I was not happy with that first half. Second half was excellent, but we gave too many chances away in the first half. Not because we were open, but because we're not defending well enough. Against Sunderland, we should have been out of sight after 20 minutes, and then they got a easy goal, you would say that, and also mistakes on the ball in that game. So those moments we need to do better. Otherwise, you will not win games, of course. Football is decided in each box, and in both boxes we of course need to do things better.
Do you feel like you're in a bit of a rut though at the moment, or does it not feel like that to you? Because this feels like the first major bump in the road for you as the head coach of Blackburn Rovers.
No, I think it's quite realistic where we are, isn't it? I'm not surprised about it.
Not surprised that you're in bad form?
No, if you look at the performance, at the way we are playing, I think we're playing some extremely good football. We are not scoring our chances we have. So we need to do that better in the end of the opponent, and of course defend. For example, today, a corner ball better, a throw-in better, and penalty is difficult to do it better. It's quite often it's a goal.
All right then, folks, let's take a look at what was said on Twitter shortly after the match. Of course, Bellas said, concentrating on the cup. Uma Rafiqatson said their way too good for this league, and we were outplayed from every position. Adam Catterall said, with the ball, we looked good until we asked to finish. Without it, with absolutely zero bollocks about us. If you're poor in both boxes, doesn't matter how many nice passes you play. Scott Cameron, right now, I prefer to go route 1 and get 3 points rather than play neat-looking football for 20 minutes and spend the next 70 minutes shipping in goal after goal. Meanwhile, Ben puts this out there. We are wank. Of course, that's Travis holding up the pic there. Of course, it is a bit of Photoshop magic there. Tommy, BR1875, our own worst enemy every single game. We can play some good football, but our mentality, backbone, and passion to defend just isn't there. To concede 4 in the back in back-to-back league games is simply embarrassing. 10 points from 9, -7 goal difference. Big step backwards this season. Hard to watch. Herminator, defensively the worst team in the league. Piss poor selections, not a single pass hit the right address. Managers got to be fault. That's what happens when you let 2 league titles at Malmo fool you. Meanwhile, Tom Dahl Thomason said, unlucky result, definitely wasn't a 4-1 game, but the defence needs looking at. Carter needs a rest, and I give Wharton a rest as well. Do need to start finishing these chances, but we carry on. Up the Rovers. We are the Rovers, aka Mr. Mac. Big changes needed. The players are capable, but the tactics aren't right at the minute. We cannot continue to ship 3-4 goals every game. It's simple as that. Back to the drawing board, JDT and Kyle Wicks said, I haven't seen the stats, but I'm pretty sure every shot they had on target went in. Penalty was harsh, as it happens week in, week out. I think Dolan looked sharp when he came on. The reality is, regardless how attractive our style of play is, we can't keep shipping 4 goals a game. That is correct. We cannot ship 4 goals a game. And of course, the games do come thick and fast. And of course, right around the corner is our next one, is against Coventry City. Actually, these are the results. We'll talk about the next ones coming up. These are the other results of the weekend. Of course, Sheffield Wednesday did lose to Sunderland 3-0 there. Southampton with the big 3-1 win against Leeds United. Norwich with a 2-0 win over Birmingham. Millwall lost at home to Swansea. That's a shocker. Meanwhile, Hull could only muster a draw against Plymouth. Bristol City lost 3-2 to Stoke at home. Cardiff with a 2-0 win over Rotherham. Huddersfield a 1-1 draw against high-flying Ipswich. QPR lost to Coventry. Preston got spanked by West Brom. And Watford lost at home to Middlesbrough 3-2. And of course, we all know what happened with Rovers. The table looks like this. Leicester, of course, remain tip of the top of the table. Rovers a bit concerned now. Of course, we could be in the drop zone. That's right. If everything goes against us this midweek against Coventry City, that's a concern of mine, and I think we should be looking at that a little bit more seriously. Probably on the weekend. I think once we get these 2 games out of the way, I think we need to at least, if we can muster 4 points, that'd be great. 3 or 4 points is probably the minimum I would take at this stage. Of course, looking forward to those games. Ipswich Town taking on Hull City. That's, of course, on Tuesday. We have Middlesbrough Cardiff. We have Birmingham Huddersfield. Plymouth against Millwall. We have West Brom against Sheffield Wednesday. Stoke against Southampton. Into Wednesday, we have Leicester Preston. That's a zinger. Swansea then against Norwich. Then we have Leeds United against QPR. Sunderland against Watford. Rotherham against Bristol City. And Coventry against Blackburn Bloody Rovers. That's a blank screen. Of course, this is me. And of course, yes, it's been a rough old time for Rovers. Rough September, we would say. Even though we've had a bit of joy in the cup, it doesn't really take away from the serious business that is the league. Wins need to start coming, and of course, do we start to question what we're doing here? And of course, there has been some other tweets on Twitter, saying that JDT is. I'm just reiterating what I saw. Is that JDT's resume will not be harmed in this way. If not, it will be improved upon, because he's introduced some good flowing football. If he had the resources to add to this kind of football, then of course this team would be decent. It would definitely be a playoff contender. But so regardless of how we're playing, I don't think we're gonna. The tweet suggested that we may not expect to see much changes, because I think JDT, as a manager, who is of course a young manager, who has got ambitions himself, will not want to change his approach to the game because of the lack of finances that were kind of promised to him at the start of the season or pre-season or whatever, and of course then move the goalpost and they'd say you've only got like £10,000 to spend or whatever. So he's not going to change his approach, despite the fact Venky's and Waggett and everybody else in the hierarchy kind of moved the goalposts on him. He's going to stick to it, which could of course be a detriment to Blackburn Rovers. Of course, we do see a lot of stuff on if we flip it around a little bit on Russell Martin. His style of play is attractive to the eye, and again at Swansea, there were games where you rip you a new one, and of course scoreline would be very good in favour of Swansea. And then on the flip side, kind of a similar situation, what's going on at Rovers, where the style of football cannot be matched or cannot be really maintained by Swansea because they don't have the ingredients, whereas he's just made that move, Russell Martin, to a Southampton when they've given him all the resources. That's why there's a bit more heat and expectation possibly on Russell Martin. You've got all the tools, man. You've got all the money. We've given you everything. And if, again, the results don't happen, then yes, axe will fall. However, on JDT, there's no pressure from the hierarchy. They've even said it's a project and stuff like that. But JDT has his own aspirations, and that is, of course, to develop this team, get in the Premier League, and, of course, play good, kind of entertaining football. He's never shied away from that. So there are pleas for a change in style of play, but will we see it? I don't know. What do I want? I love the football is good. It's probably some of the best football I've seen when it goes right. Of course, when it goes wrong like this, it does hurt. It does hurt hard. I would say let's not judge. After this game, we have had a real stinking month. The next couple of games are more manageable. Coventry City is going to be a tough old game. QPR is a tough old game, back-to-back away games. We're not going to go back to Ewood Park now until after the international break. So it could be a time just to kind of reassess, realign. I wouldn't press the panic button if we were to get 0 points out of the next 2 games, but I would be, if I was Greg Broad, I would be looking for like casting my net a little bit and seeing what, potential options are out there should we have to press that panic button. Of course, he says he's got a backup plan for everything. He says he's got a backup plan for Wildstad if that deal didn't go through. He's got a backup plan for Dom Hyam if he has to move on. They've always got this contingency plan or these options. They have to be prepared for whether JDT walks or whether JDT resigns or whether, of course, he gets fired. I don't see him getting fired. I do see him getting lured eventually, possibly. And of course, if the domino effect further up the tree, the Southamptons, of course, maybe even a Middlesbrough or somebody with money and somebody that's going to back you goes, then of course JDT will be looked at, and of course we will need to then have another reevaluation of everything. Anyway, that's a bit of a rant. I went off on one there, but I don't think things are going to change especially within the next week. I think we're going to see the same kind of football, just hope for a better kind of result, especially against Coventry. Speaking of Coventry, we've got the preview coming at you right here, right now, of course, so make sure you stick around for that. But until then, I'm out.